for Victoria's Secret, which is part of the Limited brand. So her talk today is also on art and fashion, but a little bit later than Surrealism, for 1960s.
Okay, so I chose to talk about 60s art and its influence in fashion. Long time ago, I went to a shop in Italy with my friend Erin, and there was all different pieces of art, furniture, everywhere. It was all inspired by the 60s. So looking back on it, I think it's interesting how that also coordinated right from art directly into textiles. So why should we even study the evolution of art throughout the 1960s? During this time, there was an explosion of consumerism. Artists were intersecting a lot of their art, music, films, graphic, and performance during this time. There were a lot of different types of art, but I wanted to just focus on two of them for the sake of time. So you have pop art, which was aimed to connect advertising with art. It mocked a lot of brand loyalty, which did embrace consumerism as well. Minimalism art created pure geometric art to explore physical properties of space, as well as the human experience. I wanted to further research a specific style that repeats or almost makes a comeback in a different form than its origin. A lot of younger kids I see running around with like pop art on their shirts and on their sneakers, but little do they know it comes from the 1960s. Optical art is also known as pop art. It's been an art movement that started throughout the duration of the 1960s, and it developed into various other expressions of design. Here we can further understand the use of artwork and its influence on textile and apparel designs over the years. It's known as op art or pop art, and the movement began in the 1950s in Britain and then didn't spread into the United States until about 10 years later. Again, convergence of music, film, fashion, and social change, and that's where the mod look came out of London. The look is very futuristic, sharp, bold, modernist, and geometric. For the first time, this style allowed young people to have more options of what to wear, so it became sort of a statement for them. A lot of times, too, optical art creates optical illusions, hence the name optical art. One of those designers is Andy Warhol. I'm sure we all know of him. He's the leader in the pop art movement of the 1960s and brought focus to the commercial culture of the United States. He gave audiences his personal reaction to abstract art and design using satire. He often advertised the use of everyday, common products. A lot of his things now, I think it's still funny that his art years ago was old products, but we still see them today, even though those products have changed or using different colors to advertise them, but we still see his work today. He did say that museums are like department stores, which to me connects directly how art is influenced directly into textiles. Here is his piece of the Campbell's suit. I'm sure you've all seen it. And then on the right is how that formed directly into a garment to wear. It's a paper dress that was also popular during the 1960s. These designs soon became garments of clothing and accessories that we still see today. And another one of his examples, some of these ones are more modern. They're not, they're sort of like how his work came into today. So that's the newer edition of the suit dress. And then we have the pop art picture of Marilyn Monroe. I'm sure you've all seen before as well. I think I had it on a poster freshman year. And then on the bottom right is his infamous banana. The banana was actually put on an album cover, and it was an actual like peel off of the album cover, and it was meant to symbolize that we were unveiling the layers of music in the album. And that CD is extremely rare and popular. So another style of art that I chose to discuss was minimalist art. It's more simplified subjects to basic elements, and it's art that is more related to nature. We used a lot of industrial materials to create. It involves vertical and horizontal elements, and it represents two opposing forces together, such as positive and negative, masculine and feminine. Minimalist art is a naturalistic balance with energy within the universe. This picture shown is called Stack by Donald Judd. So I'm going to talk about Piet Mondrian as well. And he said that he believes that modern art should be a common language based in primary colors. And he also said that I wish to approach truth as closely as is possible, and therefore I abstract everything until I arrive at the fundamental quality of objects. A lot of his work is almost, looks like digitalized, I guess you would say, very geometric. He was the creator of neoplasticism, which incorporated the use of dark gray lines and blocking with primary colors against a black and white background. Although there are many talented and famous artists around the world, this artist made statement pieces of work that later became statement pieces in fashion. During the beginning of the 1920s, he became interested in non-representational work, which he later coined as the term neoplasticism. We've all seen the infamous YSL dress before in our classes years ago, and it uses geometric concept of block sheets and repeats. It's a woolen jersey set in color blocks of white, red, blue, black, and yellow. And the Mondrian Day dress premiered in the autumn collection of 1965. This dress was ultimately inspired from the designs of Piet Mondrian. While sack dresses were emerging from the basic shift dress, the simplicity of that garment called for the simplicity of color blocks. YSL was inspired by the flat lines of contemporary artists of the 1960s, and thus created this artistic sensibility. So how is that used in fashion today? I was Googling different types of garments that use that inspiration now. So on the left is a piece from Kate Spade called the Multi-Mondrian. Interpreted differently because of its use of colors, but even though it still has the blue, yellow, and pink tones, it's just changed slightly for its own interpretation. And even in one of those lines has vertical lines within it, just again showing how inspiring that piece was from the original painting. And on the right is from modcloth.com. I found it on Amazon, and it's called Mod Around the Corner. It gives a different line, almost gives it like a drop waist. Harper's Bazaar referred to it as the dress of tomorrow and soon found its way into the mass market. The collection became so prevalent that it inspired a range of imitations in the form of shoes, bags, and swimwear. The picture I have on the left is like a how-to I found of how to create Mondrian prints on your nails, which I don't think anyone has time for, but it's so cool. And then on the right, I found a lot of like different collections of things that you could piece together to incorporate those colors and that geometric look. And the swimsuit on top, I couldn't figure out if it's painted on or if it's an actual bathing suit that you can buy, but it's still amazing to me how one piece of artwork can be manipulated in so many ways. And then we have Nicki Minaj wearing something like it. Clearly a different silhouette. Obviously hers is way tighter. But I wonder if she knows where it even came from or its history behind it. And then we have Beyonce wearing a swim piece inspired by the Mondrian work of art as well. This swimwear is from Water Everywhere, and I think it's like a couple $100. But I also found that art goes into home textiles as well, so it's important to remember that textiles go into furniture as well. The artistic influence and styles does transfer directly into interior design, and homes today are still decorated in this retro style. It is a response from the abstract movements from the 1960s, but it's usually very The new manufacturing materials during that time allowed for different pieces of furniture. So now, at this time, we have plastic and we have acrylic, so we have a bigger availability to make more than just plain square or rectangular pieces. They have a lot of S-shaped or egg-shaped furniture, and it was relevant to the space age look that was going around during that time too. And an interior designer named Werner Canton was popular in multi-purpose furniture design in sculptural shapes. This picture is actually from ldecor.com. So this is like a home that someone has pretty currently. This isn't like from the 60s. This is how someone chose to decorate now. So even how that art is still used today. On the top is more of an inspiration on how to make your living room look pop art, and on the bottom is more of a minimalist art. I think the one on the right was a hotel lobby, but these are like from now. These aren't from years ago. And there's a lot of websites that have like do-it-yourself and like how to make your room look retro. And it all says that you should incorporate art pieces that are familiar to pop culture today, and not just taking an Andy Warhol picture and posting it into your living room. And you should be fun, quirky, and add a lot of character into your pieces. So the takeaway message is that art is everywhere. All of us in our major, I think, already know that, but I think it's important to